Well, good evening and welcome to the Natural Womanhood webcast, an update of the abortion pill crisis featuring the president of Live Action, Lila Rose. You are in the right place at the right time, and I want to be the first to officially welcome you to this online event. My name is David Bereit, and I'll be serving as the MC for our time together. And perhaps I got to know you in my previous role as the founder and former CEO of 40 Days for Life, an organization I was very fortunate to be able to lead through its first decade and build into the world's largest coordinated pro-life mobilization. Today, I'm richly blessed to be a broadcaster, speaker, advisor to nonprofits and ministries, mentor to leaders, and along with my wife, Margaret, my best friend, we've been married for nearly 30 years. We help young adults to flourish in faith and relationships, marriage, and family. And over these years, I've been privileged to get to know Gerard and Anna and Grace and the amazing team at Natural Womanhood. Their work in educating and empowering women and men and couples on fertility awareness methods, natural family planning, cycle dysfunctions, infertility, and the side effects of hormonal birth control pills. This work is so critically important in our culture right now. And for some of us, it's also incredibly personal. For my wife and I, it was through our discovery of fertility awareness that we were able to diagnose our own struggles with infertility and ultimately to be able to get help naturally without compromising or violating our beliefs and values. And that resulted in the gift of our two children. Today, we have a 24-year-old daughter, Sister Gloria Christie. She's a Nashville Dominican religious sister. And our son, Patrick, is 19 years old. He's a college student with a passion for ministering to people in different parts of the world amongst different cultures. We would not have our family today without the knowledge and the empowerment that is what Natural Womanhood shares far and wide. We are eternally grateful, and I am a huge advocate for the work of Natural Womanhood. Tonight during this webcast, we're going to very specifically tackle the abortion pill crisis. And we just have to look back a few years since 2000, when the United States Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, first approved these chemical abortion drugs. And since that time, their use has grown exponentially. Abortion pills now account for more than half of all abortions in the United States. They've also spread like a weed around the globe as a supposed quick fix for an unexpected pregnancy. But are they safe? How do they actually impact women's health and their bodies? As this pill becomes more common and more available, it's being used now as a new form of chemical birth control. But there are serious risks for women. So this evening, you're going to hear from the Natural Womanhood team, along with Lila Rose, president of Live Action, to uncover these issues during our time together. You're going to discover the background on the abortion pill. You're also going to learn about the current state of women's health and how to advocate for natural women's health. By the time we are done on this webcast, you're going to not only know the latest about this evolving crisis of abortion pills, but most importantly, you will know what you can do to help solve this problem. Well, in just a few minutes, we're going to be hearing from Lila Rose, but first, we get to hear from the Natural Womanhood team, and you're going to hear from two amazing presenters. The first of these is Gerard Migeon, and Gerard is co-founder and CEO of Natural Womanhood. Gerard, how are you doing this evening?
Great, David. Thank you.
I'm so glad that you were able to be a part of this. And we also will be hearing from Grace Emily Stark. Grace is editor of Natural Womanhood. How are you, Grace?
I'm great, David. Thanks for having us.
You bet. So glad that you're here. Gerard, I want to start with you. And for those who may not yet be familiar with Natural Womanhood, or maybe somebody's heard about it but doesn't fully understand it, can you help unpack what is Natural Womanhood and why is it so important?
Well, thank you, David. Great. I want to first address the elephant in the room. We are aware that the abortion issue is a profound moral issue and not simply a women's health cause. So we don't want to take away from it, but natural womanhood's mission is focused on the health and welfare of women and their full informed consent. And what we see in the movement to increase access to abortion pills is a complete ignorance of basic safety rules for women's health. And so we want to sound the alarm. Now, with that said, the second elephant in the room is, why is a man the CEO of Natural Womanhood? And I want to give you a little background on this. My wife and I discovered natural family planning late in our marriage. And as we did, we met couples who had been using these methods earlier from the beginning of their marriage. And we could see the connection and the quality of their relationship. And we really realized that it would have been a huge gift for us as well. What we also saw is that these methods of family planning, there were a lot of misconception, a lot of bad information, and especially online. And so we thought this was really an opportunity to create a campaign to provide better information about natural family planning. So in 2012, we created Natural Womanhood. We incorporated, so 10 years ago, we created this nonprofit. And we started publishing information, and it has become a larger organization that is not just focused on natural family planning, but our mission now is to empower women to become advocates of their own reproductive health by learning fertility awareness methods, as well as empowering couples to embrace natural family planning. So how we do that? Well, we continue to speak up about the actual risk of birth control side effects, because they continue to be misreported. But then we also provide evidence-based alternative in areas of women's health that, again, are issue or start from the knowledge of fertility. So the core of our work is online, and we have our main website is naturalwomanhood.org, and then we have a secondary website called iudalert.com.
Grace, do you have anything to add to that from your perspective as you've become part of the team in Natural Womanhood?
Sure. Just the overwhelming importance of getting this information into the hands of women, the knowledge of their fertility. And just on a quick note, we're throwing around terms fertility awareness, natural family planning. To the uninitiated, those are just ways of reading the signs of your fertility as a woman. Your body actually gives you biological signs that you can observe and that you can track, and that lets you know when you're fertile and when you're not. And then you can use that information to plan your family accordingly, based on whether or not you are desiring to achieve pregnancy or desiring to postpone pregnancy. So when we get this information into the hands of women, we just see, their eyes light up that, wow, this is my body's been giving me these signs my entire life. A lot of women mistakenly, when they see cervical mucus, which is one of the biomarkers that they learn through fertility awareness, they realize that they've been seeing this their whole life and not known its importance. In fact, a lot of women mistakenly think they've had yeast infections on and off their entire life, and that this biological sign that they've been seeing actually gives them a good deal of information about their health and their fertility. And so at Natural Womanhood, we work to get this information into the hands of women so that they can be empowered to take control of their reproductive health in an authentic manner.
Mm-hmm. So, Grace, let me continue with you. As you are educating and empowering women and helping them to understand their fertility, how is Natural Womanhood specifically helping them concerning the side effects of traditional birth control methods?
Yeah, so there's just this disconnect between the reality of birth control side effects and what women are told are birth control side effects. We hear so many stories from so many women who've dealt with headaches, weight gain, acne, depression, all sorts of side effects, and even more nebulous ones that they don't even really may not even really observe until they're off of it. You hear women say that once they got off the pill, they could see life and color again, and they never realized before that it was kind of robbing their ability to enjoy life, the things that made life colorful. But they never hear this from their doctors. A lot of times they go into their doctors saying, my sex drive is tanked. I feel like I'm in a fog all the time. And their doctors tell them, oh, well, that can't be your birth control. Birth control doesn't do that. When in fact it does do that. And I don't think it's bad faith on the part of women's doctors. I think genuinely a lot of doctors aren't even aware of these side effects. So there's this kind of gaping chasm between the reality of birth control side effects and what women are told about it, and even what their doctors learn about it in medical school. And so at Natural Womanhood, we have this twofold, mission to get the information of natural fertility into women's hands, and then also to let them know the reality of birth control side effects, and that it's not all in their head like they've been told for so long, and that they can get off of it and get help, especially for the reasons that they might have gone on birth control in the first place, because we know a lot of women go on it for painful cycles and bad acne and all sorts of other things. And there are other solutions for those issues that take a more holistic approach to a woman's natural health and fertility.
Mm-hmm. And David, just to add that we've been working with a team of scientists and experts that have done extensive research and using data. So it's not something that we're just making up. There is extensive data and research actually confirming the side effects and the more serious side effects such as breast cancer and blood clot. And those are underreported, unfortunately. And so we really want to bring transparency, and we even have a petition to the FDA to ask the FDA to have more transparency about what is really going on with birth control. So again, this is very science-based. There are studies that show what the side effects are, but they are not reported. They are not published as effectively as they should.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Gerard, you started off at the beginning by talking about the elephant in the room, the issue of abortion. And Grace, I want to come back to you. From your perspective, we've talked about women's fertility. You've talked about addressing birth control side effects, the things that are not accurately reported or completely reported. Why do you feel that it's important for Natural Womanhood to be speaking out about these abortion pills specifically?
There's so many parallels to the reality of what we see with hormonal birth control and the reality of what we're seeing with abortion pills. They're being pushed almost as another method of hormonal birth control. We're told that hormonal birth control is so safe, it's given out like candy. The intention now is to do the same with abortion pills. They don't even want women to need prescriptions. They want them to be able to order them online, and in some places they can. And there's such a lack of oversight there that really puts women in a lot of danger. And it's the same where women can obtain hormonal birth control without a prescription as well. When you remove a doctor from that situation who can step in and take a thorough medical history to make sure there isn't a history of blood clots or anything like that with hormonal birth control, that can save lives. And with the abortion pill, it's the same thing. If women can just get it without a prescription, if they if there isn't that step where at least they can see a doctor beforehand, there are risks that cannot be mitigated. And a big one is coercion. We don't know that every person who orders an abortion pill over the internet is actually a woman who is desiring an abortion. It could be a disgruntled boyfriend who does not want to become a father, who could, then order those pills and do something with them, and, his girlfriend takes them unbeknownst to herself. There's that lack of oversight. There's the fact that women, especially those who are on the birth control pill and might not get a regular period, might not even know that they're pregnant for a while. They might miscalculate how far along in their pregnancy they are. And we know from studies in Finland that women who take abortion pills in the first trimester, there's a 5 to 8% failure rate, meaning that it requires surgical intervention. We know that's as high as 38.5% from these Finnish studies in the second trimester if women take these abortion pills, meaning that she will need follow-up surgical care because the pills don't work the way they're intended to further along in a pregnancy. And so when women are given these powerful, powerful drugs without any oversight, there's just the rampant potential for all sorts of bad things to happen. And we see so many parallels to hormonal birth control in that regard. And that's why Natural Womanhood felt like we needed to step up and address abortion pills specifically.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for hosting this event and to bring Lila on to address this very directly this evening. One question I want to go back to, just related to the broader mission of Natural Womanhood, when you are working to educate, empower women on fertility awareness, as you're trying to help them understand the risks of birth control pills and abortion pills. When you look at all of these fronts, and this is important culture-shaping work, how do you actually measure the impact of Natural Womanhood? Gerard, I'll throw it to you first.
Yeah, thank you, David. Well, the outcome of our work is simply, 4 areas, right? Women getting up contraception, women learning about their cycle, understanding the signs of fertility, and becoming more empowered to know what was going on with the cycle. Women and couples learning natural family planning, and then finally women who have issues, cycle issues, this cycle dysfunctions, maybe infertility, getting help for the root cause of of those issues. Now we have a measure in terms of reach right now. We've been measuring the number of people who come to our website, and since we launched the website in 2014, we've had over 2.6 million readers. About over half of them are from outside the U.S. Interestingly, we have quite a global reach, and today we get 1,500 to 2,000 readers a day who are looking for information. We also have launched a website in Spanish, interestingly, which is doing very well, and we launched it last year. Since January, we've had over 70,000 readers visit it, so this is also very exciting. The second area is community. So we have what I call communities, people who follow us on either get our e-news that we send weekly or follow us on social media, and we have about 40,000 people who are continuously engaged and learning from our content, and so that is very powerful and positive. And then finally, we have a community of supporters, because we're essentially, our funding comes from individual donors. And so this is a community, and I know several of our founders are listening, and so we're very grateful for that as well.
Mm-hmm. Grace, how about you? How do you measure and assess the impact of Natural Womanhood?
Sure. Well, we just have a sea of content. We have over 500 articles for women to learn, anything from getting off the pill, how to get off the pill safely. We have an entire landing page dedicated to that. We are publishing articles about, the reality of the risks of IVF and how women can find healthier alternatives to overcome infertility. We have, like I said, over 500 articles on a range of topics, over 100 of which have been scientifically and medically reviewed by our scientific advisory board, because we've actually been accused of overblowing some of the risks and side effects of hormonal birth control in particular, but everything that we do is evidence-based. Everything we write about, we cite our work. We have an entire FDA petition that was, as Gerard spoke about earlier, was compiled by a group of doctors and researchers who did a thorough literature review of all of the most robust data surrounding hormonal birth control and the side effects that come with it. And everything that we do is based in science, it's based in data. So I think one of the main things that we offer women is, again, that peace of mind. This isn't in your head. There's there's data to back it up. There's evidence, and we give them that, which empowers them to have the conversations that they need with their doctors. When we hear from women that they were able to get information from our website that they couldn't find anywhere else, and that empowered them to get their doctor to finally remove their IUD that had been giving them, we've heard from women who've had, mental breakdowns from copper toxicity from the IUD and can't get their doctor to remove it. But literally, we've heard from them say, I saw this on your website, and then I knew it wasn't in my head. And so I went to my doctor and I finally demanded that they remove it. When we hear stories like that, where the work that we're doing is directly empowering women to take charge of their health like that, that's the greatest measure of our impact in my estimation.
So as a final question, Gerard, Grace, how can people get help if they've got questions in any of these areas we've been talking about here this evening?
Yes, so they can first, of course, go to our website, naturalwomanhood.org, where, as Grace mentioned, there are tons of articles that deal with very many questions. So we try to make it as easy as possible for our readers to find the information they need, and the answers they need. Beyond that, we have a Get Help section. So there they will be able to find doctors, and we have directories and links to directories of medical providers who understand this approach of fertility awareness and will help them for root causes of their dysfunction if they need medical help, lists and directories of natural family planning and fertility awareness instructors from different methods. And then last but not least, we are just launching a program which is called the Guidance Consultation. It's a free guidance appointment with an expert. So a 15-minute guidance, they can go on our website, sign up to request an appointment, and then they will have an appointment with someone who has been trained and has been counseling women actually for an extended time, and can really listen to their issues and guide them as to what the next step should be, and help them, move forward, because we believe that a personal contact can be very important in this area.
Mm-hmm. And Grace, you want to build on that?
Yeah, definitely. Just to add to that, those consultation calls in particular are just part of the ethos of Natural Womanhood, which is to get information into the hands of women. It's not medical advice. We don't give, personalized medical advice to anyone, but we give, information that allows women and couples to have that jumping off point to get to where they can get medical advice if they need to. We point them in the right direction of those resources. 8 years ago when I got married, there was nothing, Natural Womanhood existed in its infancy, but I didn't know about it. And there was no one single source of information for folks who wanted to learn about fertility awareness or natural family planning. You kind of had to know if there was an instructor in your area and a method. And it was all just the information was very dispersed. But Natural Womanhood has collated, has gathered together all of this information on the different methods. Like Gerard mentioned, we've got directories of doctors who will work with your fertility and not against it. We have lists of fertility awareness and natural family planning instructors who can teach you in the method of your choice. And we have these consultation calls where somebody can guide you through, hey, maybe this method would be a good thing for you to look into, and go to our directory and we've got someone who can teach it to you. And then even further, if you've got painful cycles, we have doctors in our directory who can help you with that. Here it is. So at the end of the day, Natural Womanhood is an informational organization. That's how we're helping women at the core of it.
Well, Natural Womanhood is not only an amazing organization, but these are incredible resources, and I hope everybody avails themselves of the ones that will help them the most and shares them with other people. Thank you, Gerard and Grace, so much for hosting this webcast, and thanks for both of you sharing with us here this evening.
Thank you, David. Great to be with you.
We are about to hear from our keynote speaker, Lila Rose, but before we do, watch this short video produced by her organization, Live Action. It features former abortionist Dr. Anthony Levatino to help us understand what the abortion pill is and exactly how it works. A quick word of warning. This video includes verbal descriptions and visual animations of the abortion pill's mechanism of action. Some may find this content disturbing. So if for any reason you don't feel comfortable hearing or seeing this, simply turn down your volume and look away for about the next 2.5 minutes until this segment is over. After that, we'll hear from our keynote speaker, Lila Rose.
My name is Dr. Anthony Levatino. I'm a practicing obstetrician-gynecologist, and I performed over 1,200 abortions. Today I'm going to describe a first trimester medical abortion. This is a procedure in which the mother swallows pills in order to terminate her baby, and it is performed up to the 10th week of pregnancy. The procedure involves 2 steps. Step 1. At the abortion clinic or doctor's office, the woman takes pills which contain mifepristone, also called RU46. RU46 blocks the action of a hormone called progesterone. Progesterone is naturally produced in the mother's body to stabilize the lining of the uterus. When RU46 blocks progesterone, the lining of the mother's uterus breaks down, cutting off blood and nourishment to the baby, who then dies inside the mother's womb. It is important to note that even after it has been taken, it is possible to reverse the effects of RU46 and save the baby if progesterone is administered. The sooner, the better. Step 2. 24 to 48 hours after taking RU46, the woman takes misoprostol, also called Cytotec, that is administered either orally or vaginally. RU46 and misoprostol together cause severe cramping, contractions, and often heavy bleeding to force the dead baby out of the woman's uterus. The process can be very intense and painful, and the bleeding and contractions can last from a few hours to several days. While she could lose her baby anytime and anywhere during this process, the woman will often sit on a toilet as she prepares to expel the child, which she will then flush. She may even see her dead baby within the pregnancy sac. At 9 weeks, for example, the baby will be almost an inch long, and if she looks carefully, she might be able to count the fingers and toes. After she has disposed of her baby, the woman may have bleeding and spotting for several weeks. Bleeding lasts, on average, 9 to 16 days. 8% of women bleed more than 30 days, and 1% require hospitalization because of heavy bleeding. The failure rate increases as the pregnancy progresses. If failure occurs, she will usually be offered a surgical abortion. For the mother, medical abortion often causes abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, headache, and heavy bleeding. Maternal deaths have occurred, most frequently due to infection and undiagnosed ectopic pregnancy.
Well, it is now time for us to hear from our keynote speaker for this event, Lila Rose. And Lila is a writer, speaker, and activist. She founded and serves as president of Live Action, a human rights nonprofit with the largest digital footprint for the entire global pro-life movement. Her investigative reporting on the abortion industry has been featured in most major news outlets, and Lila speaks internationally on family and cultural issues. She's also the author of a wonderful book I highly recommend called Fighting for Life, Becoming a Force for Change in a Wounded World. She also hosts the Lila Rose Show, a compelling podcast that tackles relationships, faith, culture, and politics. She's a native of the San Francisco Bay Area. Lila lives in California with her husband and 2 sons. Lila Rose, how are you doing?
Good. How are you, David? Thanks for having me on.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so very much. I know that people are super excited to hear from you as we dive into this topic of the abortion pill. And so maybe if you can help get us started by giving us a little bit of the background, the history, but also the risks of the abortion pill, why this is such a critical issue for us to be aware of today.
Sure. So providing some context here, since 1973, as we know, abortion was effectively legalized in all 50 states. And at the time, most abortion facilities were doing what are called surgical abortions. This was before the chemical abortion pill was even available. And surgical abortions were the vast majority, virtually all abortions. Then something happened in the 1990s where there was a new technology that had been developed, which is, a death technology really, but it's this deadly cocktail of drugs that are used to force basically a miscarriage. The first drug in the abortion pill regimen starves the baby. The second pill that the woman takes forces a miscarriage. And this is the first time that the FDA approved it because Bill Clinton was president and he's very pro-abortion. And so he actually fast-tracked the approval of the abortion pill without even careful study or careful review by the FDA because the abortion industry, which President Clinton was beholden to, really wanted this drug. Why did the abortion industry want the chemical abortion pill so badly? Because the abortion pill does 2 things for them. Number 1, it cuts their costs. With an abortion pill, you have a woman who's sent home with a pill or really even mailed a pill. You don't need to have a brick and mortar where she's having the surgical abortion procedure. And then number 2, it makes abortion more hidden. Because now, instead of abortion clinics having to be set up around neighborhoods where you can have pro-lifers do sidewalk counseling, and where you can actually, you have to admit, we're here as abortionists doing abortion, and most communities don't like that. Now you can operate a stealth abortion industry where you just ship or send pills to women, and all of a sudden the abortion clinic becomes the woman's bedroom, becomes her bathroom, becomes the student's dormitory or their dorm bathroom. So the abortion industry favors chemical abortion because it makes it cheaper for them to commit abortions, and it makes abortion more widespread and secret at the same time, which also benefits the abortion industry. Talking about risks here for a moment. It's a serious problem for women, not just because the primary issue is that every chemical abortion is the forced death of a child. It's a miscarriage of a beautiful child. Every single baby killed by chemical abortion has a beating heart. Chemical abortions typically happen between 8 to 12 weeks. But chemical abortions are also very dangerous, not just lethal for the child, but they are also very dangerous for the woman. They are actually reportedly, according to recent studies, 4 times as dangerous as surgical abortion. Why? Why would it be 4 times as dangerous as surgical abortion? Because you're forcing miscarriage. Involved in that it can lead to hemorrhaging, it can lead to bleeding, it can lead to infection, it can lead to, in the case of ectopic pregnancy, if a woman takes a pregnancy test, finds out she's pregnant, she may have an ectopic pregnancy where the baby is actually not implanted in her womb, but implanted in the fallopian tube or elsewhere. If she takes an abortion pill, the first abortion pill that's designed to kill the baby, and then she takes the second, which is designed for miscarriage, that baby actually can't be miscarried, can't be killed and birthed ultimately in the same way that a baby that's implanted in the uterus can, because the baby is stuck in the fallopian tube. So without proper medical attention, that woman could die. It could be actually lethal for her. And this is a common concern for the abortion industry doing this, because they want to not do an ultrasound. They want to not do the follow-up care. They want to just, again, ship women these pills. So the abortion pill is reportedly 4 times as dangerous as surgical abortion. It can lead to hemorrhaging, sepsis, infection, lethal infection, or even death. A statistic that everyone should be aware of: 5 to 6% of women who take the abortion pill, who have taken it, have complications that land them in the emergency room. So out of 100 women, 5 of them who take the pill are going to end up in the emergency room because of the chemical abortion that they just underwent. And in many of those cases, it's because the baby is not dead yet. The pills actually failed to work, or the pills failed to work in actually delivering the dead baby that killed the baby, but they couldn't deliver the baby. So you have a woman who's in the emergency room. The doctors don't know what to do. They don't often know, there's not continuity of care with abortion clinics, right? It's not like the abortion clinic provides holistic health care. The woman will just go to an emergency room. Often the emergency staff don't know that she's in the middle of a chemical abortion, and so it's more challenging for them to care for this woman. And sometimes she'll need to go back to the abortion clinic to get a surgical abortion to complete the chemical abortion. So important to know, 5 to 6% of women have experienced complications that land them in the emergency room, and 24 women have died, David, in the last 20 years since the abortion pill became, mainstreamed in our country and approved by the FDA. 24 women have died. You're not hearing their stories in media. You're not hearing their stories reported because media doesn't want to talk about this, but it's also lethal for women.
Yeah. Well, Lila, I think back when I worked in the pharmaceutical industry prior to getting involved in the pro-life movement, there were major drugs that were pulled off the market with far fewer fatalities and adverse effects. And yet, because the hyper-politicized nature of abortion and Bill Clinton and the politicians who are beholden to the abortion industry, so much of this is whitewashed and covered up. And yet, in spite of these complications, in spite of these risks, we see this explosion in the use and distribution of the abortion pill. So what do you see as the trends in abortion pill use, and why is this such a critical frontier? I mean, you've been fighting on the front lines of the pro-life movement for so many years. Why is this a critical next frontier for us to be focused on?
So it's a great question, David. So 20 years ago in 2001, chemical abortions were 5% of all abortions nationally. Now, according to the Guttmacher Institute, which is Planned Parenthood's own research arm, chemical abortions are 54%. So in just 20 years, it's gone from 5% to over half of all abortions are chemical. And this is by design. The abortion industry wants it this way because, again, it's cutting their overhead costs to just send pills or hand a woman a pill. And they can make it more mainstreamed this way, and more mainstream and at the same time more secretive because, again, they don't have their brick and mortar. They're sending women into their bedrooms, into their bathrooms to self-abort, to do dangerous self-abortions. And this trend, I think, will only continue, where surgical abortions will be increasingly replaced with chemical abortions. It's also important to notice what's happening in states like Texas. Texas recently, as many people know, passed the heartbeat law. It's saved thousands of lives now since it passed last fall, banning abortions after the baby's heartbeat can be detected. Well, what are pro-abortion groups doing? Even publicly, they're saying, even though abortions are illegal after 7 or 8 weeks, we're going to still be part of the resistance and send abortion pills to women. We're going to actually make this a part of our, our martyrdom in a way as an organization to go as far as sending lethal drugs for women to kill their own children, not just after 7 and 8 weeks at 10 or 12 weeks old, the baby that old, but some women have taken it, like in the UK, there's stories of women taking the abortion pill when their baby is viable, when the baby is 26 weeks, 27 weeks old, which is horrifically devastating for the child. I mean, how it kills the child, it's torturous. It's basically starving the child or forcing the miscarriage of a child that's old enough to survive outside the womb, and the baby couldn't even be born alive. So there's a whole realm of complications, of problems, of dangers for women. Obviously, it's lethal for the child. It could even lead to born alive infants, in women's homes who are coordinating their abortion. And the abortion industry likes this. They want to make abortion, they want every woman to have an abortion. They want abortion to be so normal and so accepted. They don't want any stigma attached to the act of killing your child. And the abortion pill helps them do that. So I think it's important for pro-life groups to, of course, be aware of this and for us to be educated on this and then to educate others and to show that the abortion pill is a lethal destruction of a child, just like any other abortion. It's not a better abortion. It's not a more ethical abortion. It kills a child with a beating heart. They deserve to live, and it's seriously dangerous for women. In fact, more dangerous for women than even surgical abortion.
Mm. I was just in an event in Minnesota in the Twin Cities, and the medical clinic that I was there working with was telling me that Planned Parenthood in Minnesota has started sending out white unmarked vans across the state, and they'll show up in a rural community and they'll start posting on Instagram and social media, "We're here," and they're signaling to women, "Come and get your little bag with your abortion pills." No doctor-patient relationship, no follow-up checkup. If the complications happen, which they are going to in a significant percentage of these patients, there's nobody there to help them. And I just thought, what an affront to women, and what despicable attempts at what shouldn't even be called medicine. Lila, we're at a critical time right now when at this moment, Roe versus Wade is on the ropes. So in light of this possibility of this reversal, how will this, in your view, affect the abortion pill situation in all these different states as everything potentially goes back to the states?
Well, this is both the backup plan of the abortion industry and the plan of the abortion industry, the abortion pill. So if abortion is made illegal, as it should be in some of our states after Roe v. Wade falls, and I think it's a matter of when Roe falls, not if, then the abortion industry is going to try to do a black market of abortion drugs. And if abortion is legal in the state, it's going to just be a front street market of the abortion drug. Either way, they're going to use the abortion pill in order to expand their ideology and the killing of children in this country. So I think there's a few things that we have to do. I mentioned education is important. I think that it's very important that we're there to provide resources and care for women, and that we're marketing ourselves as a pro-life movement and the resources and the care that we have. Because look, if you're a mom, if you're a single mom who's pregnant again, or you're a young girl in college and you're pregnant, and the abortion industry is telling you, just order a pill. Just take a pill. It's like a bad period. I mean, they literally compare chemical abortion to a bad period is one of their marketing tools and one of their messages that they send women and girls. we need to be out front in the same places online. Largely it's digital that this is going to take place, because that's where women will be ordering these pills, to encourage them that no, there's resources for you. This is a child, you deserve better than this, that the abortion pill is dangerous, that there's support for women and their babies. I mean, there's a whole world of messages that we need to be out there doing, and I'm really proud of the pro-life movement for the amazing resources we have. Thousands of pregnancy centers. I know, David, you've supported a lot of them. Obviously, the work of Natural Womanhood is so crucial to even educate women about their fertility, that it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing, and understanding and respecting their bodies. We just need to be focused on investing more in these ministries so that they can be out there advocating and educating and supporting women online, where they're, whether they're college students or single moms or whomever they are, so that they're able to make good decisions, choose life, and that they have the support that they need.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Lila, I really appreciate that you have focused so much of your effort in this digital space, building this massive digital footprint through live action, and now recognizing how crucial it is, like you said, where women are finding information. Also, why I'm so impressed with Natural Womanhood, really building out these educational and assistance resources online to go where people are seeking information, but then also to be able to proactively go to where people are seeking these abortion pills. And I remember that old Wayne Gretzky quote when he was playing hockey, and he said, to win at hockey, you don't skate to where the puck is, you have to skate to where the puck is going. And this tenfold explosion of abortion pills tells us we need to go where the puck is going. And that's the abortion pill, in light of this shifting landscape with the possibility of overturning Roe. So you've shared some of the ways that we can help. We can educate ourselves and educate others. But I want to think for a second about the person who maybe is at risk. Maybe they've even taken the first abortion pill. And that makes me think of another Californian, Dr. George Delgado, and he pioneered the abortion pill reversal. So maybe if you could share just a little bit about what can people do if they do regret it early enough in the process. And then also, where do the crisis pregnancy centers that you referenced, where do they fit into this context?
Thank you, David. I think you're bringing up such a crucial point, which is there is a technology that's been developed called abortion pill reversal, or APR, and it's already saved 3,000 lives. And it comes into play, if and when a woman takes that first abortion pill. So there's two pills, as I said. The first one blocks nutrients to the baby. The second one forces the miscarriage of the baby, the expulsion, they say, of the baby. Well, the abortion pill regimen is basically FDA-approved progesterone. So it's bioidentical hormone that would help to the woman's hormones, that would help that baby live and not be starved, so the baby can actually survive and not die. And 3,000 lives have been saved. Dr. Delgado is a doctor that helped develop this in Southern California, and now there's a network of hundreds of medical professionals who can help women with abortion pill reversal. One of the things Live Action did last year was partner with Heartbeat International to market and advertise the abortion pill reversal regimen to women across the country. They need to know it even exists, because so many women experience regret after that first abortion pill. And they think, I have to go through with the abortion. The abortion industry says you have to take the second pill, otherwise you'll have a baby with disabilities. There's no evidence of that, by the way. They say it's too late. There's no way to reverse it after you take the first pill, between the first and the second. It's a lie. 3,000 women have successfully been able to reverse the abortion pill, and after that first pill was taken with APR, with abortion pill reversal, saving 3,000 babies. So part of our job in our movement is to market this amazing technology, to encourage our own doctors and OBGYNs to market it, advertise it in their offices, and to learn how to administer it to their patients, because every doctor in America should know how to administer abortion pill reversal. It's not very complex for a medical professional. It's a standard procedure that's used in sometimes to even treat miscarriage. So I think that's another part of our role as pro-lifers, is to help get this information out there about abortion pill reversal and allow this technology to save more lives.
Amen. Lila, one final question, and I thank you so much for the time that you've spent with us here this evening. I know you and I both value tremendously the gift of an understanding of fertility awareness. I have 2 children because it helped us to diagnose infertility, and my wife and I were able to have our 2 children. And you and I have had conversations about this. If you were sitting right now having a cup of coffee or a cup of tea with somebody, and they said, Natural Womanhood, here they are, the ones hosting this webcast. They help people to understand fertility awareness and educate and equip and empower them. They also help people to understand the risks of the birth control pill. And here they are helping us to understand the crisis of the abortion pill. Do you think I should support them? Why do you think their work's important? What would you say to that person?
Well, the ultimate antidote to the abortion culture that we're seeing everywhere is women valuing, understanding, and being supported in their womanhood. And, abortion and hormonal contraceptives and the abortion pill, these are all attacks on the design of our bodies. And I think the education around natural womanhood, around our fertility, around the superpower we have as women to bring life into the world is part of the solution. It's the necessary component to end abortion. So I think the work of natural womanhood is so important, that educational work, and also that positive approach. I mean, here we're doing a webcast here on the abortion pill, but a lot of natural womanhood's work is to help people with their fertility and understand their fertility and appreciate it. That's the positive side. And it's such a beautiful positive side that more women need to have access to. So I think it's absolutely part of the key to fighting abortion culture and to creating something so much more important and beautiful, which is and needed, which is the culture of life.
Amen. Lila Rose, thank you so very much for your words of wisdom, for sharing your expertise, and thank you for being a part of this webcast tonight.
Thanks so much, David.
Well, this now brings us to the end of our time together and an opportunity to respond to this challenge of the abortion pill crisis through financial support to expand the work of natural womanhood. And it's my privilege, my honor, to invite you to join me and so many others in helping to grow this work so it can reach and educate and empower tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands more women, more couples around the world who might otherwise have chosen contraception or abortion pills. The incredible resources you've heard about tonight from Gerard and Grace, and as Lila talked about what natural womanhood is all about, these resources, they are always free to the people who are being educated, equipped, and empowered. But as you can certainly imagine, it's not free to operate this organization, and it's not free to create and distribute these life-changing tools. Natural Womanhood is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and they're only able to do what they do through the generosity of foundations and corporate sponsors, but for the majority of their funding, through the gifts of individual donors. And I have a huge announcement to make. You may see this below the video if you hadn't seen it already. I just want to be the first to let you know that a group of donors who wish to remain anonymous, they love the work of Natural Womanhood. They know, they love, they trust this organization, and they wanted to encourage you and me to join them in helping to fight for the truth in women's healthcare. And as a result, they put together a matching challenge of $40,000 to help encourage all of us to join them in giving to Natural Womanhood. What that means is that every single one-time gift that you make, or the annualized amount of every pledge that you make, monthly pledge to Natural Womanhood, between now and May the 31st, the last day of May, will be doubled dollar for dollar up to $40,000. $1,000 instantly becomes $2,000. $5,000 instantly becomes $10,000. I want to, though, encourage you to think through 3 different scenarios to weigh and consider as you assess what you feel led to invest into this life-saving and life-changing work. First, I want you to consider, and these are down below on the page, you can look at these options as well. I want you to consider what a $1,000 a month pledge could do for the work of Natural Womanhood. If you pledge that for the next 5 years, that would enable Natural Womanhood to reach 36,000 women and couples annually to tell them the truth about contraception, women's cycles, and fertility, and yes, the risks of the abortion pill. Maybe you've been blessed financially and you're in a position to be able to make this kind of commitment, $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year, which will be doubled dollar for dollar by that matching challenge. For many of us, though, you may say, okay, whoa, that's a little bit out of reach. I'm not in that position. Well, maybe for you, it's to consider a $416 monthly pledge. That's $5,000 per year. You could do that over the next 5 years. That amount would allow Natural Womanhood to reach and serve 15,000 women and couples annually to raise awareness of the documented risks of hormonal contraception. Maybe tonight you and 3 or 4 other people are in a position to make this kind of commitment, knowing the impact that it will have. Or if you say, okay, David, you're still a little bit above where I'm at, then a third option to consider is maybe you feel led and maybe you say, yes, I can do this. Contribute $83 a month. That's $1,000 per year. Keeping in mind, that will be doubled to $2,000, an $83 a month pledge, annualized, $1,000 a year. That will become $2,000 through the matching challenge. If you did that over the next 5 years, that amount would allow Natural Womanhood to serve 3,000 women and couples to help them discover the science of their cycle and fertility. They can also learn the effectiveness, the benefits of natural family planning. Maybe you and 8, 9, 10 other people are prepared to make this commitment. I do want to make it clear, though, no amount is too small. It's what you're able to do. And also, Gerard, I hope it's okay for me to say that no amount is too large. There's room for plenty of zeros to be put on the form there. So I want you to reflect, ask yourself how important it is for us to change the face of natural women's health care, and then respond accordingly. As you'll see right down below where this video is live streaming, or if you're watching the replay after the fact, not only do you see those opportunities, those different levels that we're encouraging you to prayerfully consider if you're a person of faith, but also a form to go ahead and fill in to make your gift. So all you do is enter your first name, your last name, put in your address, your city, your state, your zip, your email address, and then you put your donation amount. Maybe it's that $1,000, and then you click monthly for that level that will help to make such a powerful difference. Or maybe it's that $83 a month, or maybe it's a one-time gift. Again, you think about and weigh, and if you feel led, pray what it is you are supposed to do, and then respond. And together, let's continue to educate, equip, and empower more women to understand their fertility, to understand the risks of what the world is selling them, and to be able to change the trajectory of their lives by embracing natural fertility awareness methods. So I'm going to encourage you right now to look down on the page below, figure out the amount you feel led to invest into this work, fill in your information, put your email address, and then make your most generous donation one time. If you want it to be recurring, the frequency monthly, check that you're not a robot to prove that to the computer, and then hit submit. And that's all there is to it, to make your gift to Natural Womanhood. So thank you to those who are even right now making your one-time gifts. Thank you to those who are making your pledges of ongoing monthly support. And remember, this matching challenge is in place now through May the 31st. So if you're watching us, if you're here with us live on May 17th, I think that's today's date. Yes, that will continue on through May the 31st. If you're watching this replay, you have a little less time. Make your gift. It will be doubled dollar for dollar through one-time gifts, the annualized amount of your monthly pledge, up to $40,000. What a powerful opportunity we have to continue to create informative educational content and to promote it far and wide so that women and couples looking for alternatives to contraception can find those alternatives. Let's educate, let's encourage, let's empower women and men to become agents of change so that every person, every woman across the U.S. and around the world can reclaim her natural womanhood. Thank you so much to everybody who is giving so generously. Thanks to all those who helped make this event come together. If you've been blessed by our time together and you say, I've learned so much, as soon as this broadcast is over, it will convert into a replay video. Share it far and wide. Share this video with friends and family, people in your school, people in your church, people in your community. Invite them to learn what you've learned about the abortion pill crisis from Gerard and Grace and Lila. And then for them, if they feel led to invest and to expand the work of Natural Womanhood. So spread the word as far as you can. Remember, that matching challenge is good till May the 31st, up to $40,000. So make your gift if you haven't already on the page below. And together we will help women and couples reclaim true natural womanhood. Thanks, Gerard, for your leadership. Thank you, Grace, for sharing your wisdom and experience tonight, and the rest of the Natural Womanhood team. Lila Rose, thank you so very much. Appreciate your leadership, appreciate your courage, and thank you for helping to educate us and millions of others on the risks of the abortion pill. And last but certainly not least, thank you. Thank you for being a part of this online event, for taking the time to learn about this challenge, but realizing in this time together that you can be a part of the solution. Thanks for everything you do to empower, to educate, equip women through the work of Natural Womanhood. And let's continue to work and press forward in this work until every woman understands her fertility, is able to embrace it naturally, and is able to live a life in accordance with the way that they were created. Thank you so much for being a part of this webcast event. Have a great rest of your night. Take care, and God bless you.